Hello folks, welcome back, and as F1 is about to wind down to go onto its summer break, let's have a look back at the Hungarian Grand Prix. It's just finished, about an hour or so ago, and whilst it wasn't exactly the race of the season like we had last time out at Hockenheim, it still tops off 4 pretty good races for us to have seen at Formula 1. Now I'm going to keep it quite brief because, like I said, we're about to go on the summer break, so a lot of these kind of driver transfer talks I could do in separate videos. In fact, there might actually be some driver transfers starting to happen over the course of the summer break. So what I want to look at is a little bit about qualifying, a bit more about the race, and a couple of things that stood out for me. So firstly, qualifying. We saw people all over the place in terms of the order. We didn't see Williams in P19 and P20. We saw George Russell manage to get P16, nearly getting out of Q1, which was wonderful. It was wonderful to see a Williams fighting to do, well, a lot better than they've done so far this season. I don't know if it's because of the characteristics of the Hungaroring, but it's something that was quite heartwarming, and it shows the skill that George Russell has as a driver. Elsewhere, further up the pack, of course, we saw Max Verstappen pick up his first pole position, and it couldn't have happened to, really, a better driver in terms of being the 100th person to get a pole position. Perhaps Charles Leclerc, but then that would have meant he didn't do the spectacular lap he did in Bahrain. But that set us up for an exciting race. It really did. In fact, let's talk about the first lap with Leclerc and Bottas. I'm surprised that didn't lead to a further investigation. It shows that there's been a kind of change in stance in how races are going to be investigated, or race incidents are going to be investigated, and to be fair, I think it might have been a bit too lenient on Leclerc, because whilst it was essentially a tiny collision and you can't really see too much intent to cause a collision, it did mess up Bottas's race. And that was weird. It was also weird that that was pretty much the biggest impact from the collision we saw over the course of the race. A lot of drivers were quite sensible with their driving and their overtaking, even if they were a bit cunning in some of the ways they overtook, like how Vettel overtook Leclerc coming onto what was his ultimate lap. That was a really daring move. But nice to see. Likewise, the Toro Rossos also proved to Haas how you can overtake your teammate without getting yourselves both investigated or without causing a double DNF. But yeah, those were nice overtakes to see. And in terms of race form, again, we have to have a look at George Russell, who managed to outperform not only his teammate but also drivers like Lance Stroll. And you've got to feel for Lance Stroll. Like, I don't honestly believe that he's just there because his dad bought the team. But you do have to wonder. He was essentially paid the way into Formula 1. Now he's been kept in Formula 1 because his dad bought the team. And now he's being outperformed by the person who's essentially replaced him at what is supposed to be the worst team on the grid. It does make you question it, but it's just not really been a good race for Stroll, full stop. It wasn't exactly the best race for Racing Point, with Perez ended up finishing outside the points. Of course, that is a bit of a question mark. I saw it was under investigation just before I went to record this, but I haven't seen any kind of aftermath from it yet, so he might still get a point. But as far as I'm aware, he's P11. But let's have a little bit more of a talk about the kind of strategies, because that's why Lewis won in the end. Mercedes pulled off a really daring two-stop, and Lewis was able to catch Max on much fresher, softer tyres, and Verstappen couldn't do anything about it. Now, the question is, should Red Bull have pit him? Well, when they eventually did, he ended up setting a fastest lap that was 1.4 seconds faster than Lewis. In fact, I was looking into this, I think it was over 2 seconds faster than Bottas, about 2.8 seconds faster than Vettel, and I think 3 seconds faster than Charles Leclerc was. Of course, we're talking about different compounds of tyre here, but that's the fastest laps of the top 5. It's spectacular the kind of pace Verstappen has, and that's partially why I think he's the best driver out there. But Lewis still showed that he has tremendous skill. Like, that's one of the things. Over this Mercedes-dominated era of F1, and it has been, I honestly believe that Mercedes could be docked all of their points today and still manage to win the Constructors by the time of Yas Marina. Lewis can pull these drives out. Now, of course, I think that if Bottas had been up there, we would have seen something like Monza a while back, when Kimi was essentially pressured by Bottas until Lewis came along and, well, overtook both of them. But I do think that Lewis's drive today was well deserved for a multiple time world champion. But I do understand why Max got driver of the day, not just because of the fact that you have so many fans of his coming in to vote. But one strategy that we do need to talk about today is Ferrari. Ferrari, whilst they had, without a shadow of a doubt, probably the third best car there, I'm not too sure what happened to Gasly over the course of this race. They managed to pull off a good strategy. They managed to pull off two different split strategies, with Leclerc pitting early, Seb pitting late, getting 2 1-stops and essentially producing similar end of race times. And props to them on that. They finally gotten over this bad Ferrari strategy that they've been seeming to have for the past season. Elsewhere, a strong showing from Carlos Sainz, with P5 being best of the rest. It's his second P5 in a row, though he says he's happy with this one than he was last time out in Hockenheim, perhaps because he feels like Hockenheim could have done better. He personally said he was happier with it because it felt more like a traditional kind of race. But anyways, those are the key talking points for me. Like I said, I'll be talking about a bit more over the course of the rest of the summer break. We've got a bump now until the Belgian Grand Prix, and yeah, this is a good one. Not quite Hockenheim, not really quite what we had in Austria or Britain either, but still a solid race. If you want to get involved in any kind of debate, you can do that in the comments below. I might respond to your comments, provided you're not being too mean to me, of course. Yeah, stick around here for more motorsports content. You can like, share, subscribe, so on and so forth. And I hope to see you again soon. Bye for now.